everybody, the topic of our lecture today is Introduction to Dermatology. Dermatology is a branch of medicine that deals with skin, mucous membrane, hair and nails. There are about 1,100 distinct skin diseases and many of their variants. The skin is the body's largest organ. It covers the entire body. It serves as a protective shield against heat, light, injury and infection. The skin also regulates body temperature, stores water and fat. It's a sensory organ, prevents water loss, prevents entry of bacteria, and it also acts as a barrier between the organism and its environment. It also helps to make vitamin D when exposed to the sun. The skin is made up of 3 layers. Each of these layers has certain functions: epidermis, dermis, subcutaneous fat layer or hypodermis. The layers of epidermis include the stratum basale, the deepest portion of the epidermis, stratum spinosum, stratum granulosum, stratum lucidum, and stratum corneum, the most superficial portion of the epidermis. Stratum basale, also known as stratum germinativum, is the deepest layer separated from dermis by the basement membrane or basal lamina and attached to the basement membrane by hemidesmosomes. The cells found in this layer are cuboidal to columnar, methodically active stem cells that are constantly producing keratinocytes. And this layer also contains melanocytes. Stratum spinosum has from 8 to 10 cell layers, also known as the prickly cell layer, contains irregular polyhedral cells with cytoplasmic processes, sometimes called spines, that expand outward and contains neighboring cells by desmosomes. Dendritic cells can be found in this layer. Stratum granulosum has from 3 to 5 cell layers, contains diamond-shaped cells with keratohyalin granules and lamellar granules. Keratohyalin granules contain keratin precursors that eventually aggregate, cross-link, and form bundles. The lamellar granules contain the glycolipids that can secreted to the surface of the cells and function as a glue, keeping the cells stick together. Stratum lucidum has from 2 to 3 cell layers, present in thicker skin found in the palms and soles. It's a thin clear layer consisting of ellaidin, which transformation produced keratohyalin. Stratum corneum has from 20 to 30 cell layers, is the uppermost layer made of keratin and horny scales made up of dead keratinocytes known as anuclear squamous cells. This is a layer which varies most in thickness, especially in calloused skin, which in the layer the dead keratinocytes secrete defensins with the part of our first immune defense. Now let's talk about cells of epidermis. Keratinocytes. Keratinocytes are predominant cell types of epidermis and originate in the basal layer, produce keratin, and are responsible for the formation of epidermal water barrier by making and secreting lipids. Keratinocytes also regulate calcium absorption by the activation of cholesterol precursors by UVB light to form vitamin D. Melanocytes. Melanocytes are derived from narrow crest cell and primarily produce melanin, which is responsible for the pigment of the skin. They are found between cells of stratum basale and produce melanin. UVB light stimulates melanin secretion, which is protective against UV radiation, acting as a built-in sunscreen. Melanin is produced during the conversion of tyrosine to DOPA by the enzyme tyrosinase. Melanin then traverses from cell to cell by a process that relies on the long processes extending from the melanocytes to the neighboring epidermal cells. Melanin granules from melanocytes are transferred via the long process to the cytoplasm of basal keratinocyte. Melanin transferred to neighboring keratinocytes by pigment donation involves phagocytosis of tips of melanocyte processes by keratinocytes. Langerhans cells. Langerhans cells are dendritic cells and are the skin first line defenders and play a significant role in antigen presentation. These cells need special stents to visualize primarily found in the stratum spinosum. Merkel cells. Merkel cells are oval-shaped modified epidermal cells found in stratum basale directly above the basement membrane. These cells serve a sensory function as mechanoreceptors of light touch are most populous in fingertips. Sound also found in the palms, soles, oral and genital mucosa. They are found bound to adjoint keratinocytes by desmosomes and contain intermediate keratin filaments and their membranes intact with a free nerve ending in the skin. Dermis. The dermis is connected to the epidermis at the level of the basement membrane and consists of two layers of connective tissue, the papillary and reticular layers, which merge together without clear demarcation. The papillary layer is the upper layer, thinner, composed of loose connective tissue and contacts epidermis. The reticular layer is a deeper layer, thicker than less cellular, and consists of dense connective tissue. The dermis houses the sweat glands, hair follicles, muscles, sensory neurons, and blood vessels. Hypodermis. The hypodermis is deep to the dermis and is also called subcutaneous fascia. Is the deepest layer of skin and contains adipose lobulus along with some skin appendages like the hair follicles, sensory neurons, and blood vessels. Skin appendages are skin-associated structures. They include sebaceous glands, sweat glands, hair, nails. Sebaceous glands are small oil-produced glands present in skin of mammals. Sebaceous glands are usually attached to hair follicle and release a fatty substance, sebum, into the follicular duct and thence to the surface of skin. The sebaceous gland secretes a mixture of fats, triglycerides, wax esters, squalene, and cholesterol, and cellular debris, which is discharged as sebum through the sebaceous duct connecting the gland to the hair follicle. Sebum helps to form the slightly grassy surface film of the skin. It thus helps to keep the skin flexible and prevent the skin loss of absorption of excessive amounts of water. Sweat glands. Sweat glands, also known as sudoriferous or sudoriparous glands, from Latin sudor, sweat, are small tubular structures of the skin that produce sweat. Sweat glands are a type of exocrine glands, which are glands that produce secrete substance onto an epidermis surface by way of a duct. Our skin has two types of sweat glands, acrine and apocrine. Acrine glands occur over most of our body and open directly onto the surface of our skin. Apocrine glands open onto the hair follicle leading to the surface of the skin. Apocrine glands develop in areas abundant in hair follicles, such as in our scalp, armpits, and groin. Hair. The hair is made up of 95 keratin, a fibrous helicoidal protein shaped like a helix that forms part of the skin and all its appendages, body, hair, nails, etc. Keratin is synthesized by keratinocytes and is insoluble in water, thus ensuring impermeability and protection of the hair. Some of 18 amino acids can be found in the hair, such as proline, theanine, leucine, and arginine. Keratin is particularly rich of cysteine, a type of sulfurated amino acid, which forms defusible bonds between molecules, aiding rigidity and resistance to the interior structure. The hair structure can be divided into 3 distinct parts: medulla, an innermost layer of hair shaft composed in amorphous soft oily substance; cuticule, thin protective outer layer that contains the nourishing portion essential to hair growth; is the highly keratinized composed of cells-shaped scales that are layered over the other, measuring about 60 micrometers long and about 6 micrometers wide; cortex, made component of the hair, containing long keratin strands and add elasticity supplements and resistance to the hair. The hair cortex also contains melanin, made by specialized cells named melanocytes. Melanin is the pigment responsible for the hair color. Situated near the hair bulb, the melanocytes inject pigment into keratinocytes of the new hair shaft. The color lasts during the hair cycle, from the genesis to the end when the hair falls. Nails. A nail is a claw-like plate at the tip of fingers and toes in most primates. Fingernails and toenails are made of a touch protective protein called alpha-keratin, which is a polymer. Alpha-keratin is found in hooves, claws, and horns of vertebrates. The nail structure is divided into 6 parts: root, nail bed, nail plate, eponychium, parenychium, and hyponychium. Each of these 6 components has a specific function, and if a component of the nail structure is disrupted, the nail can look abnormal. Nail root. The root of the nail is also known as germinal matrix. Its edge appears as a white crescent, known as the lunula. The root portion of this nail lies below the skin, underneath the nail, and extends several millimeters into the finger. It produces most of the volume of the nail and the nail bed. Nail bed is also referred to as the sterile matrix. It extends from the edge of the nail root of lunula to the hyponychium. The nail bed contains blood vessels, nerves, and melanocytes that produce melanin. As the root grows, the nail stems down along the nail bed and adds material to the underside of the nail, make it thicker. When the nail grows properly, the nail bed is smooth. But if the nail doesn't grow correctly, the nail may split or develop ridges that aren't cosmetically attractive. Nail plate is the actual fingernail, and it's made of translucent keratin. The pinkish appearance of the nail comes from the blood vessels that are underneath it. The underside of the nail plate has grooves that run along the length of the nail and helps anchor it to the nail bed. Eponychium is more commonly known as the cuticula. The cuticula is situated between the skin of the finger and the nail plate. It fuses this structure together and provides a waterproof barrier. Paranchium is the skin that overlaps onto the sides of the nail plate, also known as paranchial edge. Hyponychium is the area between the free edge of the nail plate and the skin of the fingertip. It also provides a waterproof barrier. I thank you for your attention.